Hi everyone, I'm Rohit Gulati, a front-end developer who focusing on the front-end technologies, and I love to cook, kayak, yoga, and obviously Maggie. So we all know CSS is awesome. CSS, as we know, component for CSS, it basically tells us what the element is. The class name which we assign to that element, it denotes what the element is. But with the basic component for CSS, like we face some issues as soon as we get to large apps and complicated apps. We get issues like naming inconsistency, like multiple people are working on multiple pages, and obviously the naming inconsistencies arise. And then the code repetition. Like first, we think the classes which we are making for each element will be reusable, but as we know, like it is not the case all the time, and limited reusability. So, what is the solution here? Utility first CSS. I know you would have heard about it, utility first CSS. It basically tells rather than telling us what the component is, it directly tells us what the component looks like. So some characteristics of it are atomic utility classes. So there are many atomic utility classes which just define one single style per class. For example, P4, which basically denotes padding 4, like no other information in a single class. And also which leads to custom design, which we can create on our own, and like there is no similarity. If you have worked with Bootstrap before, you would have encountered this problem. The components which are available there, most of the people use those same components, which makes the different site makes them look like quite similar. Also, like it saves us from the hefty task of naming variables and classes. So our hero in disguise is Tailwind CSS. It is a utility first CSS framework which has a huge collection of atomic utility classes and which results in unique designs. And the best part is no separate files. You can just add inline styles in your HTML. But as like everything has its dark side also, it creates the HTML a very verbose. So like it's not pleasant to look at, but you get the hang of it. So now you'll ask, like, what about all those classes which are not being used? As like Tailwind contains a huge list of atomic classes. So what about the classes which are not being used? So Tailwind uses Perl CSS behind the curtains, which basically scans and dumps all the unused classes, resulting in a production build which is much smaller in size. So let's deep dive into it. So this other day, I came across this portfolio by Brittany, and I really like the design of it. It's very minimalistic, and still it's a little bit catchy. So I was like, why can't I just try copying this design on my own using Tailwind? So I have the HTML structure ready, and what we'll do today is we'll start applying atomic utility classes to all those elements to make the design look similar to this. And so yeah, so let's get first into Tailwind. So Tailwind is like it's pretty easy to use. So like there are these installation steps according to whatever framework or library you are working on. Just follow them; they're quite easy to install. And then whenever like I'm stuck with any classes, let's say I want to add some kind of padding. I'll search padding, and then I can see the whole list of atomic classes which are available and the how it relates into CSS. So let's get started. Uh, we have this app component in which we have our navbar, socials, and hero. This is how we are going to divide it. This is the navbar, these are the socials, and then this is the hero. So let's first give some properties to the app component itself. Let's add a default text of light gray and a background of dark blue. So these property which you see, right, light gray and dark blue, these are color properties. These are not the the default properties which are provided by the Tailwind. These are some custom properties which I added into it. So you can see like how malleable Tailwind is. Like it supports every one of your need. So like these are the colors which I wanted to add into it, and then I just extended the theme, the default theme, and added these properties to it. And also like I added some custom fonts and some other like rotate properties to work on. So yeah, let's just see how it. So you can see like the background is looking quite similar. The font size is same. So let's jump into it. Yeah, so let's start designing the navbar first. So I have this padding and basic design set already. So let me comment this out. So you can see, like we need to reduce the size of the logo a little bit, and then we need to uh, design these options which were on the right into an inline rather than a block style. So let's get into it. So this is the main div which is containing the logo. So let's give it some height, let's say of 16 and width of 16, and then let's see how it looks. Yeah, so it's already starting to look something like it. And let's add a cool animation on hover. So it's quite easy to build. So to add any property on hover, you just need to write hover and then colon and the property or the style which you need to change on hover. So on hover, we want to rotate it by 360 degree. And then let's have a duration of 500 milliseconds and cubic bezier of ease in out. And let's add the transition property so these classes get applied. Transition all. And then let's just add the transform also to make rotate work. Transform. Uh, let's see why it's not working. Transform our rotate 360. Now you can see, right? This cool little design, and it just took like just a minute to build. So now let's move on to the this right side of the option classes, and to make them in line, let's apply the flex property. And there is this cool property to give a set amount of spacing between the child elements, which is known as space. And if you want to give it in the x-axis, space x, and the amount of the spacing. So you can see, right? It's already looking quite good. And let's add, let's decrease the text size a little, text LG. Cool. So now also let's add the font mono, make it look a little bit cool. Font mono, yeah. So you can see it's already starting to look a lot like the design which we want. So for the headings, first we need a hover. Hover, uh, we need to turn the text to green. Right. And also one more thing, like we need to add a cursor of pointer. Cursor pointer. Cool. So you can see it's already looking quite good, huh? And then let's we need the text color bright green on the number all the time. So now let's add all these properties to the other headings also. Now you'll say like, wasn't the component based CSS was much better because like we need to make one component class and then we can just copy that class onto whichever element which we like to put it onto. So Tailwind also has this property. So like as we have a little bit less time, so I'll show you this going forward in some other property, and then just let's copy the text color for the number also. Cool. So you can see like it's already looking quite good, huh? And then we just need to design this resume button. So this resume button has a padding of x-axis, let's say 3, and y of 5, and a border also, and its color needs to be green, bright green. And we need the corners rounded, and so for it we have a rounded property for changing the border radius. And on hover, we need to add a little bit of change in the background. So BG text uh, green, and we just obviously we need to increase the opacity a little bit so that you can see the text resume written on it. So hover BG background opacity 10. Cool. Bright green. Uh, BG bright green, and then let's increase the padding in the x-axis a little bit. Oh, sorry, y-axis. Cool. See, it's already looking pretty similar. So we need to align these two components in center. So let's come up here and apply icon center. Not getting applied. I think we are missing a div. Okay, I'm applying it on the logo here. We need it here. Cool. So our Navbar is ready now. So let's now work on the socials. So as we can see, like these socials are fixed, one on the left hand side and one on the right hand side. So let's move on to the socials now, and let's add the basic design. So we have these on left side. So basically what we did is we added a fixed property to make it fixed, and then bottom of 0 to make it start from the bottom, and left of 20 so that it shifts 20 units from the left side. And now let's add a background of dark blue, and let's increase the spacing between them a little bit. Space um, y, and let's say 4. Okay, and increase the size to let's say 2 pixel. Yeah. In Hero, let's this design also so that it appears on the whole screen. Yeah, so you can see like the socials menu is like almost ready. All we need to do is add some hover states, and on hover we need a transform translate of x-axis. So let's add it. In the socials, here we have our icon, and we need to add a transform, and on hover we need to translate minus translate so that it goes up, translate by of 2, and typo hover, and another hover to make the color bright green on hover. and also transition all, and then duration of let's say 300 and cubic bezier of in and out. In and out is my favorite cubic bezier. You can see, right? It looks pretty cool, but the green color is not coming up. The typo, bright green, and text bright green. And also we need to add a cursor of pointer here. Sure. So now the functionality of CSS which I was talking about, now we need this property on each and every element. So what we need to do is, let's go into our main CSS file and let's create a class. Let's say socials option, and with the tag at apply, and then we can just simply add whatever Tailwind properties which we want, and it will work as the component CSS where we can just put the class social options in whatever element, and it will pick the properties from the index CSS file. Cool. So now let's go into socials, change into socials option, and see it's working. So let's just copy this class and paste it here. So like that is why like Tailwind is really handy. Okay, our social menus on of the left is ready. Now let's quickly go on to the right one. We need fixed bottom 0, left need to be changed, flex call, width and height needs to be the same. Cool. And let's just change it from left to right. Flex call, height, let's change to 1/4. BG light gray and item center. Cool. So to make this text go around, like we can add the property rotate to it. So transform rotate 90. Rotate 90. Why is it not getting okay. Transform. Cool. See, now our text is lined and like we need a BG of dark gray, dark blue, sorry. Cool. And now some padding on the y-axis of let's say 4. Cool. And some padding on the x-axis also, px4. Now we just need to add the property socials option here. Our translate y of 2. We need to change the transfer property. Let's work on like let's come on it on the end. So now let's design our hero. So you can see like the basic feel of the site is like already looking quite similar. We just need to change the hero here. So let's quickly come on to the hero. Here we need a big like text green and the normal size So text bright green, green. Cool. And let's say Excel, and we need the Rohit Gulati to my name to be, I don't know, let's say text 8XL. Let's try 8XL. Yeah, it looks quite similar. And we just need to bold it out a little bit on bold. Cool. Now let's move on to the second. I build heavy text. Let's just copy and paste this here. And change it to, let's say, 6XL. Cool. We just need to change the font color here. So text light gray, light gray. Sorry, dark gray. Yeah. And lorem ipsum, we just need the text dark gray and text to be 2XL. Cool. And we just need to assign the get in touch button. That's it. So let's add a border and text bright green. And what do we need? Padding. So padding on the X, let's say 6. Padding on the Y, let's say 4. And yeah, we need that hover effect also. So on hover, we need to change the BG to bright green. And we also need on hover to decrease the BG opacity to 10. And just last class, rounded. So you can see like other than some padding and other things, like the design looks quite similar, right? And like on the first try, like you won't make it in 20 to 30 minutes, but yeah, in 1 and 2 hours, like if you're well versed with tailwinds, it's really easy to make. And you can see like pretty cool, cute animations and any properties which you can add. So, like this is all I have in store for you regarding Tailwind, and I hope you liked it. And so, like I will learning web development on this cohort Neoji Camp, which is run by Trinipta. I know like most of you would know about this, and like from building my first web page to like giving my first talk, like these guys have helped me a lot. And I go by the tag Rohit G. I know it's a pretty dumb name, but here it is. So connect with me. If you have any questions, shoot. It was lovely hosting you all.